Hello and welcome to this program. In this program, we are talking about the 6G technology of Huawei. As we all know, facing the technology sanctions of Japan and the United States, the life of Chinese technology companies, especially Huawei, is particularly difficult. But just because of this, it may have further spawned the 6G technology era. Although the US imposed a ban on Huawei a year ago, the company is well positioned to continue to lead in the coming 6G era. Japan and the US lag behind China in terms of 5G development and deployment, and both countries are pouring money into 6G development. Almost 1 year ago, on September 15, 2020, the US officially cut off Huawei from all suppliers whose products contain US technologies, prompting many overseas media to speculate then whether Huawei, which has been reliant upon chip imports, can survive such a ban. Yet, against all odds, Huawei's business performance exceeded market expectations, and the company is even ready to put China at the forefront of 6G wireless technology development. In fact, in defiance of a US crackdown on the Chinese tech giant, founder and CEO Ren Zhengfei told employees to break limits in the sky and set global standards for the emerging industry. It also signals the company's resilience despite a year-long US ban. According to a Nikkei Asia report, the Chinese tech giant's plans to develop 6G also arrives as the US and Japan also push ahead with the next-gen telecom tech. The report even mentioned an internal company document that states the brand's intention to continue to develop 5G and artificial intelligence businesses while also moving forward in next-generation technology. If there would be any hurdle in their ambitious 6G plans, it would likely come in the form of the US, which has imposed various sanctions in the past that had essentially crippled its once notable smartphone business. The company reported its largest ever revenue decline in the first half of 2021, mainly due to its lackluster smartphone business. Although the founder acknowledged the effects of these US trade restrictions, he added that our research into 6G is preparation against a rainy day, and we aim to seize the ground of 6G patents. We must not wait until 6G becomes viable, as waiting would impose constraints on us due to a lack of patents. Currently, 6G has become a point of competition between major economies. China has prioritized 6G technologies as one of its key research areas for a while now, while the US and Japan are pouring money into 6G development, including its use in satellite technologies, one of America's strong suits. Notably, both Japan and the US actually lags behind China in terms of 5G development and deployment. 6G for China by 2030? When the Chinese telecom giant unveiled its 6G plans, it aimed to launch 6G products around 2030. The target was not changed, but the barriers to achieving such a goal are becoming more notable. The company's rotating chairman Eric Suzhiju, in a recent book preface, which was published on Huawei's online community Xinxing, discussed the obstructions. According to Su, 6G has a more complicated technology environment than 5G, with the impact likely to come from multiple technologies like cloud computing, blockchain, and big data. He disclosed that Huawei started investment in 6G research in 2017 when it was pushing 5G commercialization. Huawei will define 5.5G and research 6G at the same time in the next few years, and it is a test of the whole industry's imagination and creativity whether 6G can surpass 5G and 5.5G technologies, Su wrote. Inevitably, though, the shadow of geopolitical uncertainties hanging over the research and development of 6G technologies may still lead to the exclusion of Huawei from overseas markets in 6G products. Whether the industries can achieve satisfying results in 6G development around 2030 largely depends on such factors as if the process of defining 6G is open enough, whether the participants are pluralistic, and if the communication is thorough enough, Su said. He also noted that Huawei is willing to hold discussions with companies and industries that might need 6G technologies to define 6G jointly. While the US and China are already fighting for 6G dominance, most of the world is yet to experience the benefits of a 5G network. Analysts have been saying it for a while now that if political tensions worsen, it's also possible that 6G will have two sets of standards instead of one, which may, in turn, increase the costs of connectivity and bring losses to global companies. Overall, years of acrimony under the Trump administration have no doubt hit Chinese technology companies hard, but that hasn't stopped the country from emerging as the leader in 5G. China has the world's largest 5G footprint, and despite multiple attempts by the US to take it on, Huawei towers over rival 5G vendors globally, mostly by offering attractive prices. Huawei is currently working to define the main specifications of 6G technology, and may release a 6G white paper soon. The Chinese tech giant envisions a market-ready 6G launch in 2030, which will be 50x faster than 5G. China has been at the forefront of many global technological advancements, especially recently. Even in terms of telecommunications, as 5G networks gradually became a reality around the world, heralding the arrival of the next generation in high-speed, low-latency connectivity, China has already begun preparing for the next battlefront, 6G. The country was responsible for hurtling the world's first 6G test satellite into space in late 2020. Most recently, Chinese tech giant Huawei announced that it is already thinking to launch its 6G networks, which will be 50 times faster than 5G, by 2030. According to a report by CGTN, Huawei chairman Su Jijun has used the company's global analyst conference in Shenzhen to announce intentions to launch 6G equipment, and subsequently full-fledged networks 9 years from now. A white paper is also planned in which the company will paint a picture for the industry of what 6G is. We think 6G will be on the market by around 2030, but we don't really know what 6G is yet. Our industry experts to launch something that will contribute to businesses and consumers by around 2030, just like we have done for 4G and 5G. We are working with other players in the industry to define what 6G actually is, the chairman commented. Maybe in the near future, we will be launching our 6G white paper. We want to discuss with businesses and consumers what 6G will look like. Driven by our vision and the possible definition of 6G, we are also researching basic science and cutting-edge technologies, aiming to realize the 6G that we define together, Su continued. He also noted that the future development of 6G will depend on potential use cases that would require the support of this technology. If Huawei or the global industry has a limited imagination, and if we could not come up with a compelling use case for 6G, maybe 6G would not be needed. If all of the use cases for 6G that the industry would come up with could be supported by 5G or 5.5G, we would not need 6G, he added. If a practical use case for 6G is not found, Su reckons we may need to wait for our next generation, who might be smarter than us and have different demands. They might come up with some use cases that could only be addressed by 6G. That would be where 6G could find its value. We certainly look forward to what 6G will bring, but 6G will not necessarily come. And yet, we still need to do research and make necessary investments to get ourselves prepared, Su said. The Chinese government has already begun researching 6G technology. According to reports by Chinese state media, government ministries and research institutes have had initial meetings with the aim of establishing a national 6G technology research and development group. State-owned newspaper China Daily stated government and industry experts have outlined a plan to advance 6G between 2021 and 2025, as part of a wider Digital China standalone objective to ensure technology provides the fresh economic impetus. The Ministry of Science and Technology said that it will set up 2 working groups to carry out the 6G research activities. While Huawei Technologies provides leadership to China, in South Korea, Samsung Electronics is at the forefront, especially in the base stations that will form the backbone of future networks. In fact, South Korea and China, home to global manufacturers of mobile phones, base stations, and electronic parts, are tapping the expertise of these companies and aim to take the lead in setting 6G tech standards through public-private efforts. South Korea seeks to become the first country to launch 6G commercial services, with Samsung and LG Electronics setting up research centers in Seoul, considering a 976 billion won, $800 million development project. Thank you for watching today's video. We will be much appreciating if you subscribe our channel and give us a thumb.